welcome to the SU election results of 2021. I am here with Solomon Milides and Joel Miller to talk through the excitement of the evening. I think the first thing that I want to say about this year's elections is that all the candidates have had a very different experience from every other year that this happened, and they've all done incredibly well, both considering the circumstances and just objectively. Having been involved in the Students' Union for the past number of years, too many, kidding, it's great. Kind of what are your thoughts on what the candidates have had to face this year?
It's just a bit odd, isn't it? Because normally we can't go through campus without being blasted by people. We can't go to the library or go buy food without people turning to vote for them. It's just been so quiet this year. But I also think it's been really hard on candidates to actually campaign because it's all online. So I don't think candidates are able to gauge how well they've done or interact with the electorate. So
yeah, at the same time though, just looking through social media, there have been some absolutely incredible things. Just seeing all the memes and all the live streams they've done together on Instagram, and there's just been a lot of really wholesome content. I'm a big sucker for wholesome content. There's just been so much of it this year, and it's been really, in some ways, quite visible. You don't have to be standing outside the library when everyone's attacking you to catch that interaction with people. Everyone's been able to see it at any point. It's been a lot more accessible, I guess.
And I think that's made the wider student population like Surrey Decides more, because I know, I think last year, maybe the year before, with people would make Surrey fesses and saying can I please just get to class without someone giving me their leaflets. And this year, there've been a bunch of Instagram DMs, there've been lots of lives. But as you say, there's been so much camaraderie, and I know they haven't spoken about it widely, but the candidates have had group game sessions in the evening and have made it feel as though there's some form of collective movement that everyone's going for, which is so nice in a year when, you haven't even met some of your candidates. I feel really lucky having chaired debates, having met some of them.
I'd say one good thing is we have saved it on paper, so at least for sustainability, which every year I always feel a bit queasy about the amount of posters and flyers and paper that's wasted. So I'm genuinely quite happy that that's at least 1 year we've reduced that down.
Yeah, but one of the best things about running a Surrey Decides, whether you win or lose, is that you get to meet some incredible people. You haven't been a candidate.
No, I've always chaired.
You've chaired, but we've both been candidates, and just getting to meet so many people, and it's been really nice to see that has still happened this year, despite everything being online, but they've still been able to get to know each other. So it's been really good to see that.
Two of my best friends, I'm graduating this year, and two of my best friends who I'm moving into the wide, scary world with, I met on the Surrey Decides Question Time stage. So no, you're right. It's always a really lovely opportunity to meet people, and I think there's not been, as far as I know, not that we will release any to the wider world, but there's not been that much drama.
No, often there's people, because normally the chairs are in the know about what's going wrong, who's being reported and breaches, but I haven't heard any this year.
It's been very good, and I think one kind of group that we definitely need to give props to all that is the union team.
Yeah, they've done a fantastic job.
As chairs, we all know, we maybe know more than most students how incredible they've been. The Sabs this year, and Kath and Hannah
they put
in
so
the voice
much,
zone, they are just amazing, and have been so nice in making it a nice experience despite everything.
And the fact that we've actually been able to have somewhat an in-person Surrey Decides this year.
Well,
we were able to
amazing,
have question time in person, that we've been able to have that even things like this, when most other elections across the country and other SUs have been online, and it's all been fully online. So yeah, really thankful.
No, I think actually, all things considered, it's been a really quite a good Surrey Decides. It's obviously different to what we've experienced with it being inside the Rubik's, but I thought it was really good, and we could fit more people in, so there's not that problem that we used to have of it being full and not being able to fit everyone in. Although we didn't get this year people shouting out bingo halfway through, which I personally miss. But
I do miss the bingo. I miss the cheering.
yeah,
For those who may have missed it, chairs had to encourage a lack of cheering, and it was very difficult for me when I was not in the chair seat to remember not to get really excited.
Yeah.
But
Next year.
it goes back to well, I won't be here. I'll have graduated, sadly.
We'll all
we
have
all
Three of us have
graduated.
graduated.
But,
So it'll be a whole new fleet of chairs next year.
yeah,
Whole new
unless
fleet
we
of
get
chairs.
brought back in, which I'm not ruling out. I love it.
I don't think we're allowed to be brought back.
No,
according to-
unfortunately.
Pull some
Yeah.
strings.
But no, I think, I think it'd be interesting to hear from maybe some freshers who've never experienced a normal Surrey Decides, to hear
Yeah.
what their experience of it
Well,
has been.
it has
really.
been different, isn't it? Because we used to have the Twitter wall, the dreaded Twitter wall, which I know is really bad, but I genuinely love at the same time.
I am very conflicted about the Twitter wall. Having been on Question Time as a candidate twice, it's so distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a
you
chair,
see
totally
like
agree.
you see like you're trying to speak, you're trying to be really focused and good and professional, and then you see your name and you're just like, wait, what? Who's talking about me? Is it good? And then if it's good, you feel this way, and bad. But I think maybe that's one element that's made it feel a bit more wholesome.
Yeah.
I did like that we trended in London.
I think that's funny.
I think it's great. That
Yeah.
So I did, I think Twitter game's been not as great this year. But maybe that's a sign of the times when people use Twitter less.
There's less
I don't
people
know.
using Twitter. We've had TikTok this year has been a thing. A lot
Oh,
of the
yeah,
candidates
we've-
have created TikToks,
Yeah.
which is, I think, has definitely been a new thing this year.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe I
I've
should download
enjoyed
it, although I am a dinosaur. So.
Yeah.
It has felt a little bit, in the best way, inescapable, in that every single social media platform there's been some form of Surrey Decides content.
So I think, are we ready to?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
we
now
can
going to
pass
pass
over.
over to the wonderful VP Voice, Theo Donnelly, to get the results of the PTOs and who will be your PTO team for the 21-22 academic year. Thank you for that. Did not see.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first part of the results for the 2021 Surrey Decides. Before we get into it, I would just like to take this opportunity to say we're really proud of the candidates. It's obviously been a very tough year for the unmentionable C word, and we're super proud of them. They've done so well, and just a huge shout out to those guys, everybody at home or in the marquee. That said, we're also live in the marquee now as well, so if you are there in the marquee, hello to you. Thank you for tuning in, and also thank you for tuning in if you're online as well. Also, a really big thank you to all the staff that have worked on this. It couldn't be possible without them. So yeah, again, huge thank you to all the union staff, Stag TV, stage crew, everybody over there. And with that, we've got a lot to get through. I'm going to crack on with it straight away. So this year we had 2,257 votes, and that's a turnout of 12.6%. So again, thank you everybody who took the time to vote. We also put a question in at the end of the election, and it asked if you would if you were on campus next year, would you be up for using the marquee? That came back with 998 votes yes and 332 to no. So that's 75% of you saying that you're pro the marquee for next year. So that'll certainly be something we will look to represent the university going forward. And with that, we will kick off with the first zone. So we're going to start with the support zone. In the first round, Ami and Numa were elected to the exec. In the second round, Liam and Margarita were elected. And in the third round, Katie was elected to the zone. So next year's support zone are Ami, Numa, Liam, Margarita, and Katie. Next, we'll have the community zone. So in the first round, with the most preferred votes, Theo was elected and takes the one exec place available in the election. And in the same round, mine was also elected. In the second round, Ron was excluded. And in the third round, Matt Atkin was elected. In the fourth round, KJ was elected. So next year's community zone members are Theo, mine, Matt, and KJ. And then continuing with the community zone, we have the RAG chair. So the RAG chair leads on all things RAG related. and they were voted in the first round with 823 votes. Dan Hood was elected, so he will be the RAG chair next year. Activity Zone, so in the first round, Amy Cameron Porter was elected. In the second round, Annabelle was elected. In the third round, Tim, David and Ron were excluded. And in the fourth round, Ilma was elected. Next year's Activity Zone are Amy, Annabelle and Amma. Sorry, I mucked up the pronunciation there. My apologies. Then Surrey Society's chair. In the first round, with 711 votes, Pulkit was elected. So he will be Society Chair's next year. Team Surrey Chair with 921 votes. Diana was elected. So the Activity Zone in full next year will be Diana, Pulkit, Amy, Annabelle and Amma. And finally, the Voice Zone, obviously the best zone, very close to my heart. The first round, Michelle was elected to the exec. In the second position went to Alexandria. In the second round, Akshaya and Sophie were elected. And in the third round, Ron was eliminated and Hugo was elected. So your Voice Zone for next year will be Michelle, Alexandria, Akshaya, Sophie and Hugo. And with that, I will hand over to our union president to do the sabbatical and officers and the PT and the union chair. But first, we'll have a little break and then we'll come back for that. Off.
Huge thank you to Theo for announcing our part-time officer roles. I've now got the pleasure to announce our union chair candidate as well as the sabbatical team that you will see next year. So for union chair, in the first round, Tom and Ron were eliminated. In the second round, with 826 votes to 708 votes, Adesua was elected. Your next union chair is Adesua. Congratulations. Now on to the big ones we've all been waiting for. First up is your vice president's support. In a neck-and-neck race, this election was decided on transfer, so it really shows how important it is that you use all of your votes. In the first round, Ron and Areshier were eliminated. In the second round, Lucy Robinson was eliminated. In the third round, Laura was eliminated. In the fourth round, Kat was eliminated. In the fifth and final round, with 567 votes to 543 votes, a difference of just 24 votes, Larry was elected. Your next VP support is Larry Francis. Moving on to your next VP community. In the first round, Ron was eliminated. In the second round, Pete Ferguson was eliminated. In the third and final round, with 796 votes to 443 votes, Nat Nelson-Williams was elected. Congratulations, Nat. So your next VP community is Nat Nelson-Williams. Now on to our VP activity debate. So in the first round, Leah and Ron were eliminated. In the second round, Ben and Alex were eliminated. In the third round, Zach was eliminated. And in the fourth and final round, with 747 votes to 656 votes, James Barlow was elected. Your next VP activity is James Barlow. That is a job that's very close to my heart, being a next VP activity. So now moving on to your last vice president, your VP voice. They've got big shoes to fill following Theo. So in the first round, Chloe and Ron were eliminated. In the second round, Polly was eliminated. In your third and final round, 628 votes to 618 votes, showing a difference of just 10 votes. Your next VP voice is Megan. And finally, the big one, your president candidates. In the first round, Akshant, Anna, and Ron were eliminated. With 1,141 votes to 902 votes, your next student union president is AJ. Congratulations, AJ. So your sabbatical team for 2021-22 in full is AJ as your president, Megan, VP voice, James, VP activity, Nat, VP community, and Larry for VP support. I want to say a huge congratulations to all candidates, whether you won or lose. It was a crazy year this year due to COVID, and I am honoured to be passing over to such an amazing team. Thank you, students, for voting, and that wraps up Surrey Decides 2021 for another year. I am now going to pass back over to your chairs.
You did good. Hello, everybody, and we have just had the very exciting news from the wonderful President and VP voice, Lizzie and Theo. Immediate responses. I'm happy for congratulations to all the candidates is, of course, the immediate response. As Lizzie said, whether you got the result you wanted or didn't, you all did an incredible job campaigning this year. Now, immediate responses.
I was so stressed through it during that.
Same. It was
really
just
nerve-wracking.
wow. It's just the pressure. It brings me back to when I was in that situation waiting last year. But just really incredible job. Just all of the candidates for running. You've all done incredible campaigns. Whether you got elected or not, you all did amazingly. And just as we were saying beforehand, like really, really well done, particularly in a time like this. But wow, just such a great officer team, I think, for next year. Really, really strong people who I think are going to do a great job of leading the SU to bigger and better things.
Just thought it was really close. I was really
Incredibly
surprised by the
close.
closeness.
And I think one thing that, not to put a negative light on what is a wonderful evening, the turnout was really low.
Was very low.
Really
which
low.
I suppose isn't to be surprised.
Not to be surprised because of COVID. As we said, you're kind of almost like, whether you like it or not, constantly reminded that an election is going on when you're in person because you have people coming up to you. At the moment, you just don't have that. But that doesn't mean that every vote cast doesn't count, that all the candidates shouldn't be incredibly proud of themselves. I had another thought, but it's been... one thing I did want to say, and I know we can relate to this, you kind of touched on it. There is no feeling like waiting to see if you've been elected to a role. So just big love to all the candidates. I hope that the shakes are starting to wear off. I even got a bit jittery, which is just the dramatic side of me.
One thing to point out for anyone who's not watched this beforehand, if you're wondering who on earth Ron is, because that was me my first time I watched this. Who is Ron and why is Ron getting so many shout outs? Ron means reopen nominations, and that was one of the options on the ballot. So
if you vote Ron, it means you don't like any of the candidates and we should go back to an election. And it is always a good year when Ron doesn't win. Sorry, Ron. But yeah.
I don't think in my memory, I don't know anyone's won.
I don't know.
I think there was one time, I believe, like a few years back.
Must have been a while back because none of the elections.
It was one of the part-time officers, I think.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah. So really, really interesting.
Yeah, I think also as well. We have all chaired debates this year, and genuinely having come off the stage in the little chairs chat, we've all said, everyone has done amazingly. So genuinely, everyone did really, really well this year. And I'm so excited for the team next year. They're going to have a big job rebuilding university post-COVID.
It's going to be exciting though.
So exciting.
Exciting.
So
a really
exciting.
a year when I think everyone's going to want to get involved in things.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for so many things. And yeah, I think the one common theme I think we've seen across at least the SABs and the union chair, I think every single one of those, the people who have won, have really shown how much they've invested in the Surrey community over the years in different areas of the university, whether that's peer support, whether that's in the union, whether that's in all sorts of different avenues. I think that's definitely shown in the people who have been elected. And yeah, I guess hopefully it's a really good reward for them to something just really in response to like all the work they've put in to really improve Surrey and make the student experience better for everyone, which I think is really important.
And I think not to sound too cheesy or like, I guess like an advert, but I always feel like Surrey Decides is such a nice note of what you can do to get involved in Surrey and what you can do at your time at university. And so yeah, it's kind of never too late, I guess, is what I'm saying.
On that note, any of you watching this who are going to be around next year, please feel free, consider running for next year.
Do chairing.
Or do chairing.
It's fun.
I thoroughly recommend chairing. It's been the highlight of my Surrey experience.
I'm intrigued. What stopped you from ever running, but what is chairing?
I really love chairing, and I think I'm 34 now, and I'm really ready just to go to workforce. I never wanted anything to get in the way, and PhDs are quite an endeavour.
Yeah.
I didn't really have the spare time to be a part-time officer, so that's why I never ran. But I really love chairing. Highlight of my year. I think last year I flew back from France so I could do it.
Incredible.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy chairing, so I definitely recommend it. One of my friends in first year said, "Oh, you should try it, give it a go," and I was like, "Oh, why not?" And best advice I ever had. So anyone that's watching this, audition to chair. It's a really great experience.
And I think we've already said a very big, well-needed thank you to the wonderful student union team behind Surrey Decides, but we should never forget Stag TV.
Yeah, fantastic
Another
job.
way to get involved. And should you not want to be in front of the camera, being behind it, but they're incredible. Every year they make Surrey Decides run like clockwork, and they're all amazing. So little round of applause.
Interesting thinking about. I'm just trying to think of like the 6, I guess, trustees.
Yeah.
So our SABs now union chair. I think we've got three students from the business school there. We've got 2 law students.
And one sociology student.
So we have no engineer.
It's full SAB.
No.
It's full FAS. This
this
is going to be an interesting one. Yeah.
Am I right in thinking that business school students have been historically underrepresented within our
surprisingly so. I guess we have had, to be fair, we did have Gemma Payne. Who was a business management student.
Yeah.
And was president, so.
And was president, and VP Community the year before had. So we have had some of that. Yeah, but full trustee.
See, as a politics and sociology, every year it's like, right, in politics more. It's like, right, who? Come on, just get it over and done with. Who's running for what? Come on. But it's very nice having some sociology representation.
Well, as an engineer, I'm a bit worried there's no engineers.
Well, it's your civic duty. That's a joke because civic engineering. Thank you very much.
Engineers, Surrey Decides need you for next year.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. And FHMS as well. We want to see you guys here too.
Yes, of course. So, maybe that's a job for our new VP Voice.
Yeah.
Exciting.
To try and get some people from FHMS.
But it is nice seeing, I remember in my first year, it very much being like a politics, like not much difference in terms of like what course you're doing. So it is exciting to see kind of a multitude of courses represented, of course, in our PTOs as well as in our SAB team. So
A diverse range, I think, isn't it? We've got a diverse group as well, which
is good.
Nice.
I'm also, when I was on the support zone in my, I think both my years, there were no men, there were no boys on the team.
Nice.
So very exciting to have a man elected. We did have, our VP Voice was a guy. When I was running, we of course we have Aaron this year. So yeah, very exciting.
Very excited to see, I guess, what the team do next year.
Obviously, there's people that have like stayed on as well that already had roles. So we have Diana staying on in her role, which is nice for her, I guess.
She's been in the union for a long while.
Well, she has. Yeah, I think she's
dotted
support,
around.
Hasn't she? She's done support voice, I think.
Yes, and then went to activity.
But it's nice for her because I suppose she's been Team Surrey chair this year and not really been able to Team Surrey chair.
Yeah.
So I suppose it would be nice for her to actually Team Surrey chair. And then we've had other people that have stepped up, haven't we? We've had people that are in the zones that have stepped up into.
Yeah, Nat has been in the
Nat,
voice zone
yes.
this year.
Nat has been
and he's
done
now on-
community, and this is done
Yeah.
jump up. We've
Oh,
had
community, sorry.
Megan gone from
Yes.
voice
Voice-
zone.
yeah,
I knew
Um,
it was something like that.
Larry hasn't been involved in the union in
No,
one
which
of
I
those
think
sort of roles.
is very
Just-
exciting.
It's so good to have
Yeah.
some refreshing
Yeah.
people new blood
Yeah,
coming
new
into.
New blood, and I
yeah.
think, you know, as we've said, we've all been involved in the union somewhat for our time at Surrey, but I think it is always so exciting to have new people in. One, just because it's good to expand these circles, break away from stereotypes of SUs being very cliquey, but also just to bring new ideas. I think
Yeah.
when you can stay in the same roles, not that that isn't wonderful, and we're not very excited to have those candidates join in their new roles, but you know, you can get you can work on the same projects, which is never a
Yeah.
bad thing, but it's always exciting to have
Well, we
some
were
diversity
discussing
in
this earlier when we was talking about were we to run for VP,
Yes.
which ones we'd go for. And I think, because when I first started, I thought it was a bit odd that people jumped from ship to ship.
Yeah.
But actually thinking about it, for me, it's voice and activity. And I think, did you say support and voice
so-
for you?
well,
So-
yeah, support of voice, because I fought Solomon out of his position of VP voice because I said I wanted it.
so I go for activity.
Just because, I'd been on the support zone for 2 years, and I think I also, one of my best friends is the president of Welfare Watch. I live with her, so I've lived in a very, and when I was on the support zone, created Welfare Watch with 2 of the other zonies. So I think, you know, it's been a very support-oriented time, and I might go a bit stir-crazy. But I was not brave enough to run in Surrey Decides
No.
this year, and
I think-
left that to the
yeah.
right people.
Yeah.
I think it's, you've done your student duty.
Served your time,
student
served
duty.
your-
Right, you, what would you go for?
It's a difficult one because I think a voice would be. I've been in the voice zone this year. I'm still on the voice zone.
Yeah, you're not out yet.
So it's the natural thing would be to go for VP voice, but a VP community. I nearly ran for that
I could
a couple
really
of years
see
ago.
you being a great
VP community. So I don't know. It's a
So
tricky
yeah,
one.
because as I said, in my first year, I thought it was really weird to jump ship, but everyone has different sides to their personality,
Yeah.
so it's not really a surprise. And the more I've got to know
No.
the union, the more I find it not
And I
that weird
think
that
as
people jump
well,
from one to one.
Because we, of course, have our specific stabs, we see them as such concrete roles, but really, like, the lines blur
There's
so
so much
yeah.
collaboration, so
Yeah.
much collaboration between the different areas, which I think is
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah.
And I guess as well, coming back to we were talking about the people who are the experience that people have. Like we've got AJ coming in as the union president,
Yes.
who's as she pointed out during her presidential debate, has done a year as a SAB, has gone back to being a
Yeah.
student, completed her final year, is now coming back to
And
be
I
president.
think she was a PTO before she became a SAB.
Yeah, she was.
I think
she was,
so,
she
yeah,
was in
she
the voice
was,
zone
yeah.
beforehand, so
Yeah.
a range of experience there. And then Ade, who's
Yes.
has been rag chair this year.
Yeah, and she was involved in the union. She was our scribe for the support zone. She was
done a lot
so
as well.
yeah. But I think what we essentially have is a team that's going to be really wonderful for the next academic year. And on that note, we're going to be back in a few minutes to talk to the people representing you in the 2021-22 year. Welcome back to Surrey Decides Election Night 2021. I am very excited to be joined with our new Union Chair, Ade, our new VP Community, Nat, and our new VP Voice, Megan. They have just heard the news. I'm not going to grill them because one, that's mean, they've already done that, and two, their brains probably feel like scrambled eggs. But I am going to ask them how they're feeling. So Ade, how's it going? How are you feeling?
I just feel so like it's not real. Just because, you know, campaigning this year is a lot different. So you couldn't, like Solomon said during the thingy, you couldn't tell whether or not where you were. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, wow, I'm Union Chair, yay.
Crazy. How you doing?
I'm the exact same. I literally remember watching Surrey Decides in my gap year 5 years ago. And then I always remember the first exec meeting, October 2017.
This is real dedication.
Yeah,
literally.
And I've always wanted to run the union. It always just seemed such like the coolest thing. And then now I'm just thinking about everything we're going to do next year. Well, this year, I guess. And yeah, I'm just.
That's great. You're allowed to break them before then, I promise.
I don't know what to say.
Have a sleep after campaigning. How are you feeling, Megan?
See, I'm overwhelmed just like these two, but I'm the opposite, in which case, like, I didn't even think this was a possibility like a year and a half ago. I didn't even have running for Voice Zone on the cards, so the fact that I'm sat here, going to be a sabbatical team, going to work with Nat, going to work with Valley, it's just an amazing feeling. But it's so overwhelming, it's so shocking, and it's, you can't because COVID, but you want to go hug everyone that voted for you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, what do you guys want to say to the people that voted for you? I mean, I kind of know what you want to say.
I'd say thank you 100%. And I think it's also a lot of trust because you run on your manifestos and you say you're going to do the things that you say you're going to do. And I think it's just important that we do deliver on that. So a million thank yous and we won't abuse that trust.
Yes, 100%. Million thank yous, and I will make sure I deliver on my promises. I will try, and we should be the sabbatical team that brings us out of COVID, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Personally, I will make sure they do what they said they're going to do.
That's what I was going to say.
So, yeah, don't worry, guys. They're in good hands.
Good, yes, you are. And anything to say, I mean, kind of the bittersweet nature of Surrey Decides as you make all these wonderful friends, you sometimes end up beating them in the race. So do you guys want to say anything to the other candidates for your roles?
I have so much love for like all the girls that are running against me, Sophie and Chloe in particular. I was sitting with them on Question Time night, we were doing shots together, and I saw their passion, and to come and do it from like a Voice Zone perspective is one thing, but to come out and be a stranger to it and to come out and do an amazing job, I just have so much respect for both of them. And I hope you're doing okay, guys.
Yeah, no, I would echo that. I think one of the things that I've always loved about Union is meeting other students. And students such as Pete, for example, who's been involved in so many different societies, he's always been active in the union. It's always inspiring to me to try and emulate that. So I have a lot of respect for him. And actually, after my community zone debate last year, he had a lot of nice words for me as well. So I really love that. I really love Pete. And then Sam as well, I've known of for so many years now, especially through other people. And she is the most loving person you'll ever meet. She's so bubbly, so fun, and such a genuinely nice person. I couldn't want to run against any other people. So yeah.
That's great.
Oh, for me, Renee's been really supportive. You wouldn't think that we're competitors. We just, hi, how you doing? It's really, really nice. So yeah, Bethany is right. We meet so many nice and great people
100%.
During Surrey Decides. So yeah.
I think that's one thing we were talking about earlier was that, I don't think Surrey Decides is ever like this kind of dog-eat-dog race where people are mean and there's loads of drama, but it's still an election, there's still going to be some fallout here and there. But this year, I don't know if you all have been involved in it, but I know there have been like game nights just for candidates, and there have been so many really sweet like lives, and it's just struck me as like a really supportive time, which is so nice when you've been doing it.
Definitely.
It's such a wholesome environment, and I just have so much love for not only, the candidates in my zone that have been elected, but also every single candidate that has been supportive, that has reached out, that has sent a message. Even if they didn't win, I hope they stay friends, and it's been a wholesome time. The game nights have been really fun, and just getting to know everyone. I feel like it's so difficult with COVID, but what made it easier, especially now the elections are in exam time, what made it easier is just the friends you make and the community you make along the way.
100%.
Definitely agree.
On that note, you guys are in final year, right?
Yeah.
How are exams going? How's assignment stress?
I forgot about exams.
Oh yeah, same, but I don't have the excuses, sorry. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely tough. It was that 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. period to study, and then a few hours sleep. But I think...
Please sleep now. When you said you're going to think about ideas, don't go to bed.
Well, no, I won't out. I think next day I'll be sleeping. But I don't know, I think you just kind of remember what you're running for and what you want to do and why you're motivated, and it doesn't ever seem like work. It seems just something that you have to do. And then when you get back on the campaign trail and you're meeting all these other students and the other candidates, I think it never really seemed like a burden, or it never seemed like work. It always seemed fun. So, at least for me. I won't presume to speak for anyone else, but...
Yeah, how have you found? Because remind me what year you're in.
I'm in 4th year, but I'm doing an integrated master's.
Cool.
So for me, I've been able to kind of juggle both.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I think...
Not to say that you smashed it.
I mean, in the group chat, I'll be like, why are you guys still up talking? Go do your assignments. And they'll be like, oh, Alice is the one doing her assignments. So I've been able to successfully, thankfully, juggle both. So yeah.
Very good.
My mother is watching. If you are still watching, I've done all of my assignments.
And if you're watching, so have I. Also, I'm here. The research project's done. I think a note as well that I wanted to say, we've all kind of said, sent love to candidates who might not have got the results that they wanted. Of course, you don't have to be elected to work with the Students' Union.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to speak for you guys, but all students should bear in mind that the union is open, and I'm sure your wonderful VP, your new VP Voice, your new VP Community, and your new wonderful chair are going to be more than welcoming to all students.
Please approach me, say hi, send me your ideas, even if you flood my DMs, I don't care, just flood me with ideas.
I definitely agree with Megan.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, I know all these guys are wonderful outside of Surrey Decides as well, so
Thank you.
I'll graduate and just be in your DMs like, hey guys, I
have an idea.
I just definitely go away. But yeah, I'm kind of keen to not say what's the first thing you're going to do, what's something that you want to do, but is there anything from your manifesto that you're really excited to jump on? Go.
So 2 things. One, Surrey Film Festival is going to be a big thing, and overnight rooms on campus, not just for Rubik's, but for any late activities for any student who feels unsafe or perhaps commutes from a further distance and needs that place to stay. So those would definitely be the 2 things.
I'm excited for them.
Thank you.
You guys?
So the timetabling policy, I really want to get that nailed down. I don't think that students should be facing back-to-back 24-hour exams. I think that should have just been dealt with. So on that, and then Empowered Surrey, I've been kind of sad that the Liberation Network has kind of, in its reformed area, kind of died. So I want to revamp that and just make Empowered Surrey really great.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
I think for me, before I start any new projects, I need to speak to the current union chair first, just to kind of pick up where she's left from, then I can start off. But yeah,
Very
that's my
exciting.
motive.
Is there anything from her time that you're like inspired by, or that you want to reflect on?
I think it's her work ethic. I really need to understand how she kind of did that, especially within COVID. So I do have.
She's finally here as well.
Yeah, exactly. And has a dissertation. So I do have a lot to learn from the current union chair. So I'm going to be messaging her, hey.
I know what I need to learn from Theo, just have a big ego, but I'll pick up on that.
Theo
Yeah.
has some to spare, don't worry. You can take some.
I'm sure he can share some with me.
Absolutely. Well, a very big thank you to these wonderful newly elected members of your 2021-22 SAB team. We'll be back in a minute to speak to more of our lovely new team.
And we're back here in the studio. Just want to say congratulations to both of you. We're joined here today by James Barlow, your VP Activity Elect, and AJ, who is Union President Elect. So congratulations to both of you.
So
How are you feeling? AJ, we'll start with you.
It hasn't sunk in yet, to be honest. It's going to take a couple of days, maybe. But honestly, I appreciate every single person that voted for me because I wouldn't be sat here if it wasn't for you guys.
Oh, wholesome. Love the wholesome vibe. James, how are you? Any words?
I have
no words.
For anyone who knows me, I don't really run out of words much. And right now, I'm like shaking. I have no words. I have nothing to say. Just honestly, just thank you. Thank you so much to everyone that did vote. Thank you for everyone that put me first, second, third, fourth, anywhere. As long as you voted for me, thank you so much. Honestly, this means the world to me, and I'm so glad I've got AJ next to me by my side, and I'm really looking forward to this year ahead.
No, thanks, guys. Were you expecting it?
No.
What was the feeling like? Because were you both in the marquee, waiting for the results?
I wouldn't say I was expecting it, but I wasn't as anxious as I had been in the past.
So what was different for you that made you feel less anxious this time?
I don't know. I feel like I believe in gut feeling. So for those of you that don't know, I ran last year. Before voting closed, I was telling my friends I've lost. And they were like, you don't know. I was like, in my heart of hearts, I just know. And today I didn't have that feeling. So I was like, okay, I think I'm okay, but we're just going to wait and see what happens.
Well, you did very well, didn't you? You won by a clear margin. So.
Thank you.
Yeah,
congratulations. Well done. What about you, James?
I mean, I'll be completely honest, I've been messaging all my friends all day saying,
Literally.
I've lost. Not complete opposite. So I've been saying to all of them, like, look, guys, I'm just going to say that I've lost. I feel like I've lost. I feel like Amy ran a really, really good campaign. I think Zach did a really, really good campaign as well. And everyone in Surrey Decides was so lovely and wholesome. And I can't give enough shout outs because it was so lovely. But I've been telling all my friends all day, like, I'm not going to win, it's fine. And if I do win, I can celebrate maybe. But if I don't win, it'll be like, at least I've kind of almost adjusted to it because I'm expecting to lose. And I had like a line of shots ready for me for when I did lose. And then we celebrated so hard, we knocked them all over.
Nice.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I won.
Well done, honestly, well done both of you.
Thank you.
This year, it's been a different campaign. It's been online.
Yeah.
AJ, you've done this beforehand. Well, you've campaigned several times. This is your fourth Surrey Decides you've campaigned in. How was it online this time? How was it different?
I feel like it was a lot harder in terms of engaging with students, whereas before you can just knock on your door and be like, hi, have you voted? Face-to-face interaction. But because it was online, you didn't really have that bond or connection. But I think I also did like the fact it was online because I'm studying, like I'm in final year. So I didn't have as much time to go out door knocking and everything, because that kind of contributed to why I wasn't going to run initially, not going to lie.
Yeah.
It was literally, my nomination went in like the day before because it's just a bit too much. But because it was online, it kind of made me think, okay, do you know what? It's not as bad as me going out, knocking on doors, talking to several people. So I guess it has its pros and cons, but I do think when it's in person, there's a lot more engagement from students. Whereas this year, I think that kind of contributed towards the turnout.
Yeah, and I think everyone here, the final years, the guys who were in here a second ago as well.
Yeah.
Final year, juggling final year. How have you found that?
I mean, the very first thing I need to say is I'm really sorry to my entrepreneurship council finance group because my spreadsheet is not going to be done by tonight. I've got coursework due Tuesday, exam in 10 days' time.
Yeah.
It's been stressful, and I think all of us, I mean, are you studying?
No, I don't study. I just work constantly, no end.
You're finishing this year though as well.
I'm mid write-up, yeah.
But yeah, like I'm still studying like really, really hard and relentlessly and campaigning at the same time. Like I have felt so tired this past week, and every single Surrey Decides candidate has felt the exact same way.
Literally.
So honestly, the fact that we've got here right now, it's amazing. And honestly, everyone in Surrey Decides has been so lovely and supportive. And I think I don't think I could have done through all of this without them guys as well.
Yeah,
so I just want to give them like a little clap, like a little COVID-friendly clap.
Nice.
But yeah, it's so surreal.
How are you? Go
Oh,
for
I
it.
was going to say, AJ, you've like had quite a lot of experience at the
Yeah.
union already. So like, how do you see it coming for like now you're becoming president? Like, how do you think it's going to
How
compare
do
to
I
what you've
think?
had before?
I feel like inevitably it's going to be different because president, you're literally the lead of the students' union. But I guess the good thing is I've been involved in the union for several years because I was like ACS president, then I went into the zone, then I went to VP, and then now this. So I feel like I've racked up experience and familiarity. But the only difference is because I've been out of the union for a year, there's certain things I won't be as familiar with if I went straight from being VP to president.
I think there's an advantage to that because it has been like VP to president
Yeah.
constantly. So this is like the first year that we've had a break. So
Yeah.
you have been a VP, which is great. So you've got the
Yeah.
experience. So what do you think that's going to bring and how you'll...
I feel like it will bring a different perspective because even Alan, the CEO, he was saying it's been 11 years since we've had like a non-SAB win. And that clearly shows that it doesn't really happen often. But I guess the good thing that I will probably bring to the table is the fact that I've been a student going into president position. So I feel like I might have a lot more of that relatability because especially with COVID, studying COVID times, I can relate to that with a lot of students. I feel like that's probably something that will probably alter the way I do things as president.
And then for you, Barlow, you've like not been in the union, but you have worked for the
Yeah.
union. So you've been
Yeah.
front desk, haven't you? And then you
So-
took a sabbatical year to work for the union.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be like for you for now, instead of being an employee, being a student?
It's a really odd feeling. So yeah, in my second year, I was a part-time worker. In my third year, I was a full-time worker for the union. And then in my fourth year, I've been working for the university for the business school. So I've kind of had like the whole breadth of experience inside this university, whilst also being a student, being a committee member, being a member of other clubs and societies. It's like a real breadth of knowledge. So it's weird. Like this is my first Surrey Decides, and it's really, really weird. It's weird. That's all I can say. It's so odd.
Well done, both of you.
Thank
I think
you.
we're going to stop grilling you. We're going to pause for a sec because we've actually got our VP support elects here as well. So we'll be back in a moment.
Hi everyone, we're back and we're joined with VP Support Larry We still have our future president and our VP activity with us, and we'll continue the debate going on. So congratulations, well done. How are you feeling?
Overwhelmed, I think is the best way to say. I don't really know what else to say, if I'm being honest. I can't get my words out.
Oh, don't worry. I think that's a perfectly normal way to respond to having something like this. But is it a relief now the campaigning's over and waiting for the results to come through?
Definitely. I think after question time, there was a weight off. So obviously that's something big you have to prepare for. And then obviously tonight, so nerve-wracking. I think James was just saying before we went on, like, you're sat there and you're like, you're so prepared to lose. And then when you hear your name and saying you've been elected, it's like, you don't believe it.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm still like, oh my God.
It's like euphoric, isn't it?
It's something else.
As someone that's graduated from a degree, I can tell you that's what graduating from a degree is like as well. It is, I do understand the feeling, but it's great. So like, this is going to be your team, you're going to be working with each other. Did any of you know each other before, or is this like... Pardon?
So I knew James because I was VP Voice when he was community assistant. I knew Nat because I just knew Nat, and then I went to school with Ade, so I've known Ade since I was like 11.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's quite exciting. So there is the new one for you then.
Yeah, I've not met James
and I knew
before.
Megan,
I've only met Megan before out of everyone elected.
Oh, I see. Well, that's cool. It gives you a chance to get to know each other and come with like a
Team.
blank slate and get to know each other. Obviously, James knows everyone.
No, I
James.
don't know.
James is well known.
Biggest name on campus.
No, I don't see that.
Well, if you weren't before James, it looks like you might be coming
might be
forward.
now.
All of you are going to be BNOC soon, won't you?
I didn't want to be a BNOC.
Life chose you.
Oh no.
So, like, I think, like, what's your plans for the rest of the evening? Like, ready to celebrate, go back to the marquee?
I think I'm just going to do my laundry, tidy up my room, call it a day, to be honest. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
And you two going back to the marquee?
Yes.
I will be at the marquee and I will be drinking probably a lot and celebrating.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'll be overlooking a spreadsheet, probably crying whilst nothing works. But then remember, wait, we've got a SAB job next year. This is insane. This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to celebrate tonight and then write the dissertation that I haven't written that's due in 2 weeks. Sorry to the sociology department, if any of you are watching.
I think I wrote my dissertation in 3 days, so I wouldn't
That's
stress
crazy.
it. Yeah, it's about 3 days.
That's impressive.
There's lots of Red Bull.
Give me some tips after this.
Yeah, anytime. So, I think, are we ready to wrap up? Yeah? I think let you guys get off and celebrate and like relax and chill.
There's no one relaxing here. It's grind season.
I think give a thank you to everyone that voted and
Thank you.
a big congratulations to our incoming union exec team.
Thank you.
This is so surreal.